Hey, everybody, welcome to Dad Pod. Hey, that's the worst goddamn way to think that people actually used to talk that way when they were like advertising themselves.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're doing like a monster truck thing, like, you know, coming to the Thomas and Mack Center this Friday, 4 p.m. It's Bigfoot.
Hurry.
Yeah, absolutely do that. But it's like anybody else, like, hey, everybody, we're here at Fry Electronics. It's the last day of a Sony Trinitron on sale for $499. Fuck you.
Yeah, we used to be a goofier nation than
oh my
now.
God.
Let's just go with that.
So let's jump right into it. We were talking about this before is, what's this, episode 8?
Episode 8.
Episode
we're still
8?
not canceled.
And we haven't been canceled yet. We can't. We've got both races covered. Only people that can cancel us are the Asians can cancel us.
And your folks.
The Latinos can cancel us.
Latinos don't cancel people. They're good folks.
That's true. You know what? That's true. Whoever's litigious, the Jews, but I'm half Jewish, so they can't. We've got that base covered. Shalom. So,
and I'm married to one. So look, we're good.
So, but the one thing that, and we'll talk about it a little bit is, and I should pull it up. We've had a couple of posts that have gone viral.
Yeah,
which is awesome. It's always awesome. There was one where I talked about like what you said. Is there such thing as a happy dad?
Yeah.
And I said, there's no such thing as a happy dad. 50-50, right down the gut.
Yeah.
For and against, and so passionate, Brandon.
Of course.
People were and are about how we talked about that topic.
Why is it that the word happy, I have my own theory, but I want to hear it from you. Why do you think it is the word happy has such an effect on people? Because we've said I think we have made some videos where we've said, I told people if you let your wife spend too much money, you're a bitch. No pushback.
None.
No pushback. But when you said there's no such thing as a happy dad, for some reason, Jeff, people lost their mind. Why is that?
It's because to say happy is a very analogous term. It's broad.
Yeah.
There's different definitions of happy, Brandon. And so my definition of happy, and anybody that agreed with me, we have the same idea of what happy is. Whoever is voraciously coming after me, you, both of us with visceral hatred has a different perception of happy.
Yeah.
And guess what? Just because we differ in the definition of a positive thing, that's okay.
Well, yeah, but okay.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Me too.
It's more of we live in a society now that people hide behind their computers.
Yeah.
And so you don't see me, and I'm just fucking keyboard warrioring away. So I could say, well, what do you mean? I'm a happy dad. You're weak. You're a shitty father if you're not a happy dad.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm actually a great dad. I have a great relationship with my stepdaughter, my daughter, and my son. I'm active in their lives. There's a story today I want to talk about. I had a great experience with my daughter this past week. That was like, oh, what a win.
Those are my favorite stories.
What a win. I have a great story that you're going to love. And so people have whenever you say a term, a feeling, a mood that is completely like, this is how I think happy is right here.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I might think happy's over here.
Yep.
And that's okay. But we've given ourselves this culture of limiting beliefs.
Yes. Well, we've also made it, we live in girl world. I talk about this a lot. It's my favorite thing to talk about. As someone who grew up playing football, hanging out in the popular groups and getting to see how girl world, I grew up with Regina George, right? I grew up, all those girls, those were my friends growing up, right? So I got to see how their cliques and social groups interacted. And it's girl world where small subjective differences equal all out total war, right? And here's my thing. And here's what blows my mind, Jeff. Okay. So I consider myself a content person, right? I don't go, if I was a happy dad, would I go on social media and see something that I disagreed with and feel the need to insult another person? No. Every day, now I don't consider myself a happy dad. I consider myself just a dad at peace. Because when I go on social media and I see something I don't like, do you know what I do, Jeff? I swipe up.
Just keep scrolling.
I swipe up.
It's okay.
Because I'm at peace.
It's okay.
Right? So people, think about what it takes, Jeff. And I think this is why it really struck a chord. Because you made a lot of dads realize they weren't as happy as they thought they were. Right? Because if you were as happy as you thought you were, where's all this anger coming from? Right? I go on social media all the time and people say all kinds of things about black dads that I know aren't true. Do I get angry and jump out the screen and go, you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid. You're da-da-da. No, I just swipe up.
I love that. I forget the clip, but you had a black person say, you don't know what that you don't know what you're talking about with black fathers. Don't listen to you.
Yes.
And I was like, what? What?
There's a war and that's a whole topic for a different day, but there's a war in black culture going on right now. It's really interesting. And it's a lot of what we're discussing, where men who want to see themselves as black fathers and lead the next generation are being attacked and held back by the ones who have failed generations. And so it's a real conflict because no one likes to be told that they're not doing right.
It's so raw. The stuff that we talk about here is so raw. And it's either, that's why I think it's kind of been fun to watch the progression of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because, and I mean, thanks y'all for tuning in, because holy shit, like the one about burn the boats.
Yeah.
Like I sent you I'm a dad, a whore, and I'm watching the arc of it is just going like this last night. And I go, this is going to be at 100,000 by, and it was at like 60 or 70. This will be at 100K by tomorrow morning. It was 150 this morning.
And now we're sitting at like 180 something.
Oh, you're over 200 now.
Are we?
It's over 200.
It's really taken off. And
burn the boats.
Remember when we first started this, Jeff, we're letting you guys a little bit behind the scenes, but Jeff and I believe in that. We believe in that our audience is just as smart as we are and that you guys can take this. When Jeff and I first started, it was an idea. But then I remember typing in #MomPodcast. And there was approximately 989,000 mom podcasts. And when you typed in dad podcast, it was less than 1,000.
Yeah.
Dads and men in general have been waiting to share how we feel about certain things, good or bad. We just want people to know how we feel. And I think that's why you and I kind of laugh at the angry dads. Because guess what? I'm still glad that we have a platform that they can be angry at. Right? Imagine feeling angry and having nowhere to get that anger out. If they have to let it out on your bald ass or my chunky black ass,
okay,
fine. Let it out on us. We can take it.
Don't care.
Thanks for the engagement, Farm.
How about the one today when the guy was clapping back and you're like, we're engagement. It's called engagement farming.
Engagement farming.
You know, thank you so much for your comment. Like people just don't understand that we are very proficient at the social media game.
Yes.
Both of us.
Yes.
And so when you're coming in to clap back at us, you're literally bringing a knife to a gunfight.
100%.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
We are like, if you're not familiar with wrestling, the term in wrestling is heel and face, right? And in the world of wrestling, which guess what, guys? All of entertainment, podcasting, all of it's wrestling. Okay, we're creating an imaginary world that you guys get to play around in. Okay, in the wrestling world, it doesn't matter if you're a good guy or a bad guy, Jeff, as long as you're getting the reaction from the crowd, right? If I hit you with a steel chair and nobody cares, that means we failed, right? So the second that they engage with us, whether it's something mean or positive, as long as you engage, that means we're doing the right thing, right? I want to finish something about the happy dad thing, because I think this is a topic we're going to keep going back to a lot. I think happiness is like the Democratic Party, and that they have now squeezed so many titles and words under one umbrella that we've ruined the definition of what happy actually is. I think if you ask the average person, what does it mean to be happy? They'll tell you peaceful. They'll tell you content. They'll tell you excited. They'll tell you satisfied.
Yeah.
But these aren't happy. These are peaceful is not happy. It's peaceful, right? I can be peaceful and not happy. Right now, talking to you, I feel pretty peaceful. I'm pretty calm. But if you said, Brandon, are you happy? Fuck no. I've got 10 trillion things to do today.
I am rarely happy. As a dad, as a man, I am rarely happy. And that doesn't mean I need to go to a therapist or take a pill or do anything else. Is my life out of balance? Hell yeah. Everybody's life is out of balance.
Yeah.
Everybody's life is out of balance. And so when I said there's no such thing as a happy dad, it was more about there's no such thing as a balanced dad. Think about that. There's no such thing as a balanced dad. That's a fallacy.
Sure.
It's something we're all striving for. Mormons. It's the official name of the church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They are trying to, every day, become as perfect as Jesus Christ was.
Yeah.
If you believe in that. They fail every day, but they try again the next day to be a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better.
100%.
That's what we all are trying to do, is to get that state of nirvana when you're happy. But guess what? I have friends that have millions in the bank and they're fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. So it's not money. I have guys that get more ass in a toilet seat and are out running around, banging this and that, and 20-something, 30-something.
Lonely.
Miserable and lonely.
Yeah.
Awful. And so we're here to talk about that because it's stuff that nobody is having those conversations, Brandon.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's why we're here. And that's why in the not so distant future, we're going to start having guests. And that's not a solicitation. We'll love you all, but trust me, we already have a roster that we're going to be bringing in. And they are, this is a reference that no one's going to know. The home run king in Japan, the guy's name was Sadahara Oh. He has hit more home runs than Babe Ruth. Our first guest puts up Sadahara Oh content.
Yeah.
Like there is a 100% chance when he walks in this room, there's going to be stuff he's going to say that's going to go viral.
Yeah. Yeah. Guaranteed.
100%.
Guaranteed.
And he's going to set the high watermark for everyone else that's going to follow in his footsteps or her footsteps that come in here and come on this show with us.
Yeah. Oh, the first girl that shows up on the dad pod? Whoo! She better be ready because this ain't going to be softball, right?
It won't be, but that's okay because we're here to talk about the things that dads have been thinking about, not talking about for years. Unless it's with like your therapist or something like that, which that's great. But you know what? Why don't we have more of an open and honest discussion about this shit?
I have a topic at the end of this about therapy. It'll be like a brief little one hitter, but I every time I think of it, I'm like, I'm going to fucking needle Jeff with this shit. Dad's happiness is always outweighed by the things he has to be concerned about. There's a predator out there, Jack Reynolds, okay? And this has circulated the internet for a while. Jack Reynolds was a child predator. And when they sat him down for interviews, I wish they would stop doing that. He said he would target kids not based on the mom, but on the dad. If the dad looked weak, if the dad looked unable to defend his family, if the dad looked like he wasn't paying attention, if the dad looked like he had other things to do, instantly his predator brain said, that's a victim right there, right? And as a dad, these are the things that are constantly, I had a dad put it very well to me. He goes, I hope I have a son, because when I have a son, I have to worry about one dick if I have and he was joking, but what he was talking about is like, these are the things that dads have to worry about. It's not just, are my kids going to be okay? It's, are there predators out there? Okay, well, if I have a daughter, there's millions of predators out there, right? All of these are my concerns and they never go away, right? When your kid's a teenager, when they're 20, when they're 30, this doesn't go away.
I preach to my daughter especially, because she goes to school in the hood. She's LVA is in the hood. Great school, gated, the whole thing, but it's in the hood. Situational awareness.
Sure.
Like when she goes to somewhere off campus to grab a coffee or something like that, I'm like, honey, your head should be on a swivel at all times. Never let anybody come within 10 feet of you unless you kind of know who they are, whatever. Keep space.
Have a bubble.
All the time. Have a bubble. And she's very good about it. But that's something as her dad, I can't be there to protect her, but all I can do is instill the knowledge and wisdom that I know to say, That is the greatest thing you can teach a teenage girl is situational awareness.
Yes.
There's nothing, and I'll fight this one. I'll get raked over the coals for it. Fuck you, don't care. The greatest thing you can teach a teenage girl is situational awareness.
Mm-hmm. Know your surroundings.
Know your surroundings at all times.
100%.
And be able to read people.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's coming at you and they're looking you right in the eye, get the fuck away from them as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You run. I don't care. Get away from them. Don't let somebody come near you. And heaven forbid someone puts hands on you. No.
Yeah.
No. So I think you're right. What you're saying, it's that do dads take the time and the effort? Do they stop looking at, Pornhub for 30 seconds to go ahead and take the time to have a talk with your daughter?
But it's not just having talks, right? Because as these predators will tell you, if a man looks incapable of physically defending his family, right? That's also makes you a target. Dads have to be situationally aware of everything. Of everything, right? Yeah. Am I capable of defending my family? Do I know how to shoot a gun in case that happens, right? So on the laundry list of, are they getting their homework done? Are they staying disciplined? Are they happy with their friends? Is their life in order? Are they going to, on the top of all of the normal parental things, it's like, hey, is somebody eyeballing my wife? Hey, is that person looking at my kid? Yeah. Right? When I walk down the street with my family, if I'm in a restaurant, do you do this? Do you sit with you always have to sit facing the door, right? That's dads when you walk into a restaurant, you will see dads are facing the door. It's a constant vigilance.
Whenever I am out in public with my family, I always have my back to my back is to the wall, mm-hmm. and I'm looking at where's the fastest exits. Mm-hmm. If something happens, where am I taking my kids? I am role playing in my head. If there's an active shooter, how fast we go under the table, or is it better to risk it and run and mm-hmm. get out and because the door is right there as the emergency exit. Every single time I'm anywhere in a crowded area, movie theater, restaurant, a store, whatever, Trader Joe's, whatever. If I'm there with my kids and or my wife, absolutely.
Yep.
And if you're not doing that, you're a shitty dad.
Of course.
You are a shitty dad if you don't have situational awareness when you are with your family.
Yeah. And I've never met a dad who doesn't do these things, right? Correct. It's just built into us because as we talked on the last episode, if I end up in a situation like that, no one's looking at mom to escape the gunman, right? Mom is looking directly at me like, how are you going to figure this out for us?
Unless mom is proficient in, like, she's in law enforcement or she's done something where she has experience in that field.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say all moms, most moms, yes. I would say 90% of moms have no goddamn clue.
Of course. If your mom's a police sergeant or a trained SWAT or FBI, but these are very small
But it's
scenarios.
For the most part,
yeah.
and it's the man's job to protect.
Of course.
Man's job to protect.
I tell everybody's equal to the Titanic sinking. Right? Or what's the joke? There's no feminists during a house fire. All that equality shit goes out the window when the Titanic's sinking. Then it's like, oh no, women and children first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're equal until I'm about to die.
Yeah.
But again, men know this. This is not something. What we're saying isn't for our male audience. It's for our large female audience who maybe doesn't understand that their man's behavior. Why are you doing that? That's so weird. Why are you standing at this position on the street? Why are you constantly looking around?
Talking.
Why is your back facing the door? Why? Well, because I have to make sure that nothing goes wrong.
That's our job. I'm looking on Dad Pod and I'm pulling up our demographic right now to see what our where we're at with. Okay, we're 89.8% men.
Yeah,
and we are 10.2% women. With most of our audience is 35 to 44 years old.
Yep. So it's guys who are just becoming dads or have been dads for a little bit, right?
Yes.
I had a look at that. We've had two good comments. We've had one person say, well, three. One guy said, this is actually making me appreciate my dad more. You should. Another person said, I'm either looking around for an exit or something that I can kill you with. And then the final guy said, My rule is I need to be strong enough to pick up both my kids and carry them down the street at a reasonable pace at any time.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I like that.
Is it on TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Brilliant.
Instagram.
Love that.
Right?
Love, 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 love.
Yeah. Someone said you can't appreciate your dad until you're a dad. What do you think about that?
I agree with that. I think that there are, the wins are easy. It's the challenges and struggles and fear you can't experience until, like, one of the most beautiful and scariest days of my life is when my daughter Alex was born in St. George, Utah. July 27th, 2009. And
angels were singing, lights pumping through the windows.
It was awesome. I mean, she was perfect. She wasn't crying. She was beautiful when she was born. I was crying, but after that initial, like, okay, we give her the bath, and I learned how to do a diaper for the first time and all that stuff. Then I'm like, oh boy, I gotta feed her. I have to do and then my son, when he was born 9 years ago, December 30th, 2015, right here, he's born and raised, was born in Southern Hills Hospital. He was under the Billy Ribbon lights. So he was in NICU. He couldn't, and now he's built like a brick shithouse, but back then he couldn't eat. My wife and I, every 3 hours, went formula and had to work our index finger under his jaw to teach him how to eat. Without that, he's done.
Yeah, now he argues with you about stupid allowances and dumb shit.
Actually, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I have him, he makes $6 a week, $5 a week going outside picking up all the cookie or dog shit in the backyard, and $1 he takes his Trader Joe's bag and goes to the mailbox and puts all of our mail. So he gets $6 a week, and he started to hate it. And I said, "Welcome to having a job, Jack Fargo."
I used to have to teach you how to chew, you bastard.
Welcome to having a job, Jack Fargo, where you're not gonna love it all the time.
Yeah,
you're not gonna love it all the time.
It's becoming a dad that helps you gain respect, because you love your dad, right? There's
talk to him today.
Yeah, there's an inherent love with your dad. I mean, with dads in general, right? But it's hard to with respect. It's because it's you feel like that's his job, right? Like you love that he's doing his job well. I think becoming a dad helps you respect him because you realize, oh, you were just another piece of shit 20-something like me who didn't know anything about anything, and you were figuring it out as you went, right? I think what we're missing, and I can deliver this in a much better way if you like, but we have killed the respect for authoritative fathers in America. If you're a dad who dresses up in a dress and a skirt and plays teacups, oh yeah, they'll put that on the news. That'll go viral, right? If you're a dad who's putting on makeup and letting your girls paint your face, oh, that's a good dad, right? But the authoritative dad who's telling his kid, hey, no, you're going to do this the right way and you're going to do it again, and I don't care if you cry, that's toxic.
The dad who is reprimanding his kid at Target because the kid's misbehaving.
Yeah.
You're a toxic dad. That's toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
You're a narcissist.
Yeah.
You're a bad parent. How dare you?
Yeah.
And heaven forbid you smack your kid in the ass for misbehaving at Target.
How dare you levy punish? How dare you deliver consequences for bad behavior?
Notice I didn't say Walmart because they just bring out a fucking butterfly knife. You get stabbed. You get just stabbed at Walmart. Especially some of the Walmarts here.
My God, the last time I was I hadn't been in a Walmart in 5 or 6 years, right? Not to brag, but I'm a Target guy now, But I walked into a Walmart, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a whole different world out here.
It's like Escape from New York with Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
It's just a whole,
But those prices are good. I can't not, you know what, I'll make the jokes, but damn, Walmart's prices, some of those
Black
are
Friday's
pretty
the
good,
best.
right?
Black Friday for electronics, Walmart's the best.
You turn on TV, and I'm not the first guy to make this example, where dads are Peter Griffin, Homer Simpson, right? People were supposed to make fun of. But even these dads deserve respect. Peter Griffin's wife on Family Guy doesn't do anything. Homer Simpson's wife, Marge, doesn't do anything. These are dads providing
very true
a home.
That's a great point.
For families of 5?
Yeah.
Single-handedly. And both shows treat them like they're nobodies, like they're nothing.
We should run the numbers sometime and it would be a great clip to be like, okay, where does Peter Griffin work? What's the average salary for someone like that?
Yeah.
And lives in wherever.
Quahog.
And here's their house in Quahog. How much would that house be worth? And then, so what's his average
That's
mortgage?
a good idea. We're adding that in there.
What's his average mortgage payment at 7.25%, 30-year fixed? And he looks like he's this old. His kids are this old. So what's his nut every month that he's got to hit for his kids to be fed and have protection, meaning a house, and they have a car or cars too, at least. What's that like? And he's coming off as this blubbering, boisterous buffoon.
Idiot. Yeah, of course.
And meanwhile, this guy's providing. At Homer Simpson, Springfield, same thing. Now, all those kids have not aged in 30 years, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, what's that? Reverse engineer that. And what's that look like? And if that was really in real world, what kind of stress is Peter Griffin under?
Yeah. No wonder he drinks so much, right?
No wonder why he drinks so much.
Right? He's got to come home to his wife, who's always got a problem. And he's got to come home to his one son who's addicted to porn, his daughter who's just this, and his baby is a psycho. And it's just like, feel bad for this man, man. He's drinking because he needs some help, right?
We all need to empathize with Peter Griffin.
But there's no empathy. No. I tell you all the time, when Hollywood creates their perfect dad, it's the dude from Modern Family, whatever his name is, Jay, or not Jay, the other one. And even then, he's treated like the family buffoon.
The one who's a real estate agent?
Yeah. He's treated like the family buffoon. And it's like, once again, this man is holding down a job. His wife stays at home. He has 3 kids. And why are we treating this guy like he's a goof? Where's the respect?
Take it one step further. He's written in to be a goof.
How about this? The only dad on the show,
Phil Dunphy.
Al Bundy's character, I call him Al Bundy for the rest of my life. Jay, the one with the hot Mexican or Colombian wife, right? He's the only person on the show that gets treated with deference and respect.
Why?
Because he's an asshole and he's the authoritative figure. But every episode, the episode ends with him having to learn some life lesson. It's like, no. This man lives in a big ass house. He's able to support this beautiful Colombian woman in all her dreams. His kids live successful lives.
Right.
Why does he have to learn the lesson?
Absolutely.
Every episode that I've seen involves him having to learn a lesson as if he's some old dinosaur when he's the only person who commands respect in the whole show.
Where is, because I haven't watched the show in years. Does it take place in California?
Oh, shit. Right? I think it's either Chicago or California, one of the two.
Because in California real estate agents' incomes earn between, this is on average, because there's a shitload of them, between $60,000 and $140,000 a year. Let's say he makes $200,000 a year. I don't know if the wife works or not.
She does not.
Okay. They've got like 2 or 3 kids.
3 kids.
Right? A nice house.
Yes.
In a nice neighborhood.
Yes. Very nice house and a very nice
horse shit.
Yeah. Phil Dunphy's pulling in $500,000 a year.
He has
Phil Dunphy's pulling in $500,000 a year.
To hit that nut? Yeah. He has to, Brandon.
Yeah. And we treat this man like he's a goof.
Absolutely.
Jeff. We see it, again, we try to stay away from this unless it's perfectly called for, but we see it in what is politics right now other than soft dad versus authoritarian dad?
Yeah.
What like literally in our country right now, what are we dealing with other than mom versus dad?
Yeah.
One side wants to be more liberal, more friendly, more just let the kids do what they want. Cut their dicks off. Who cares? They're kids. And the other side's like, hey, get your shit together. Be better. Suck it up. Life sucks. It's hard. Get tough.
You know what's crazy is my dad, now we have a great relationship, but for the longest time, we just weren't that close for years.
Okay.
For years, we weren't that close. Looking back now, my mom passed away 2 years ago. I talk to my dad every other week at least. I go to see him in upstate New York every 2 to 3 months. When I look back now, even though my mom was probably in my life 85 to 90% more, but over half the life lessons I've learned is from my dad.
Yeah, that's true. Whether you like your dad or not, that's where your life lessons, whether you're learning from his mistakes or you're learning from his successes.
When we talk about the whole like gender thing, there was a great video that was on TikTok I saw yesterday in California, and it was a boy who is identifying as a girl, doing a high jump at a high school track meet, whenever the boy, 'cause it's a fucking boy, whenever that boy was running up to jump over the thing, 2 or 3 dads are yelling, "It's a boy. It's a boy." I thought that was wonderful. Because you know what? Shame on not just that boy, but the parents. To let that child think that that's okay instead of having a talk with them. Because, please, when I was an only child, but my mom had friends that they had daughters and they would dress me up in dresses and all that shit to dick around and put pantyhose on and makeup on me when I was like 6 or 7 years old. That didn't mean I all of a sudden identified as a woman. What the shit, Brandon?
I remember I wanted an easy bake oven when I was like 6 or 7 years old because I was like, I like to cook. This looks cool.
How ironic is that, by the way? Because if you said, "Oh, let's look 30 years later what I'm doing for a living," I'm going into some of the restaurants and have millions of people looking at your shit online.
Yeah.
And it all started from that craving for an easy bake oven.
What happened to tomboys? I said, when's the last time you saw a tomboy? Right? Like right now, my daughter's going through her like tomboy phase. She likes to wear some of my guy clothes, but she also likes to wear skirts and dresses sometimes, right? So it's like, she's like walking that line of tomboy, right? And we just one day decided, we're like, nope, there's no more tomboys. You like acting like a boy? Must mean because you're a man. And inside, deep down, you were always meant to be a man. It's like, I just think she's a little tomboyish.
There's no fluidity. And like my daughter's the same way. She says she dresses, her fashion sense is Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? Which I love that. And Alex is a hoot. She wears she comes into my closet in my dresser and takes my clothes. Like oversized t-shirts. She's got stuff from the Bucket of Blood Saloon in Carson City that I haven't worn in years. She wears that stuff to school. My basketball shorts that I've had for like 10 or 15 years. She wears that stuff to school.
Yeah.
With her Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
Or her Adidas. But I'm like, but just because of that, I'm not saying, oh, well then you must, all of a sudden like girls, which it's okay if she does. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but we need to start shooting up with testosterone.
And I'm not taking her to all of a sudden like go through some like conversion therapy. No. Come on, man. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's again why dads have to be on the tougher, like everybody knows it, on the good guy, bad guy scale in the house. Dad's always having to lean bad guy. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Right? Who in the world likes the authority figure? When we watch movies, no one's cheering for the authoritative bad guy to win. Yeah. Right? You're always cheering for the rebels. No one's cheering for Darth Vader. No one's cheering for the Emperor. You're cheering for the rebels. That's how it works.
I've got to be honest, as a kid,
you cheered for the dark side?
I cheered for the Coyote with Roadrunner and Coyote.
What's fair? The Roadrunner was a dick.
I wanted every time I had this just fleeting sense of hope that like 8-year-old Jeffy is sitting there watching my Sony Trinitron, the cathode ray tube.
Hold on, let me pull up the Sony Trinitron.
Sony Trinitron is old school. Sony no baloney, my dad taught me. It's back when you always bought Sony because you could never. My parents in New York City they spilled a gin and tonic down the back of their Sony Trinitron. They pulled out their hair dryer and dried it out. It still ran for 13 years.
Jeff, is this what you're talking about? Is this a Sony Trinitron?
That's a Sony Trinitron.
Can the cameras see this? Jeff, that's the oldest shit you've ever put into this show.
Yeah. Yeah. There was different models of them, but yeah, that's Sony Trinitron.
Imagine
it's hilarious.
You wake, this is what you're watching Saturday morning cartoons on?
Oh, yeah. They're like 30 inches, 32 inches.
Holy
Sony
shit.
Trinitron. And the thing, those things weighed like 800 pounds.
Did you have the rabbit ears?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You old bastard.
And you got to hit it. You got to hit the top of it.
Yeah.
And you're watching, and all of a sudden lines start going. You got to move the ears around. And oh, yeah. That was like late 70s and early 80s. And cable came out like early 80s where it was a box with a cable that went to the TV. And the box had buttons that would go tick, 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 tick. It was a row of buttons like this. Tick, tick, tick. Those are your channels. And you can flip a little toggle switch here. So you could have like 12 channels, like 1 through 12, and then 13 to 24. Because you would flip up or down. And those are your channels.
And you were the guy cheering. And you were the guy cheering on the Roadrunner.
For the Roadrunner, cheering for the Coyote.
I'm not sorry. The coyote.
Cheering for the Coyote Saturday morning cartoons every Saturday. Every Saturday, Warner Brothers would have
Is it because you just wanted him to be successful one time? Or
one time, man. Trying so hard.
Yeah.
Trying so hard and get so creative. Who was Acme's biggest customer? But the Coyote
I know.
was getting all these different like pianos, bombs, like everything coming from Acme.
I think that's the best. I think the Roadrunner vs. Coyote is the best. If you don't understand what men's life is like, I think you should watch that cartoon, right? Because no matter how well laid his plans were, the Roadrunner represents life. And life would just draw a painting on a wall that was fake, and the train would come through and hit you anyways, right? He would always have some magical reason that why the Coyote just had to lose.
Would draw the cave, and then would go through it no problem. You know, and then the Coyote would try, and all of a sudden a train was coming and would run him over.
Yep.
Every single time.
What better display for life than that? What better symbolism for life?
What a metaphor.
Sometimes the train just comes through the fake painting and hits
metaphor, you. or the piano gets dropped on you every time, and you've got it all set up for it to fall on. If the Roadrunner's got to hit his mark right here, it's going to fall on him, and it doesn't work. And then you go try it yourself as the Coyote, and you get smushed by a safe. Usually it's a safe, and the door opens, and you're going, you're all fucked up. Yeah. That's a metaphor for life as a dad.
Yeah, that's Monday.
That's Monday.
You thought you were having a great day, and you come home, and your daughter just got dumped, and your wife had a shitty day at work, and your kid falls and breaks his leg, and you're just like, oh, well, okay, that's time to adjust. The piano just fell on my head.
3 clients you were working with for years all of a sudden dropped you.
Yep.
Like, and you were counting on that money to come in for something, for a trip you were planning on going on or whatever, and it all falls through.
Yeah.
Welcome to being a dad.
Serious or funny?
Serious.
Serious?
No, funny, because we just did serious.
Okay, funny. Okay.
And check your comments too. See if anybody said anything.
Let's see. That's what he said. That's funny, Shaq. No, just a bunch of people agreeing with us right now.
Okay.
We've got a lot of agreement. A lot of people in here.
And live streaming 101, always say the person's name if you can, because there's greater engagement that way.
That's smart.
Because they feel like that they're part of the conversation. So it says like Jill F124, go, hey Jill, that's a great idea. Yes, we should start grooming better.
Yeah. So D Scrin J said, shame on all the weak men who've allowed this gender nonsense to run wild. Weak men create hard times that strong men have to fix. That's accurate. It's Dial Bish says, giving out some great quotes for my dad on June 15th. Hell yeah. I like this, man. It's a lot of positive reinforcement going on in here.
Yep.
What, I'm going to get a lot of dads in trouble. What is your favorite wife punishment? Is it the silent treatment? Is it no sex? Is it telling her friends and family just how bad of a guy you are? Which one's your favorite? Those are the 3 most common. When we ask guys, what are the most common wife punishments that girls inflict on you? Which one's your favorite?
So a punishment that my wife inflicts on me?
Yeah, your favorite of the
silent.
wife. The silent treatment?
Oh, God. Yeah, because she's a yapper just like me. You know Brandy. Brandy talks.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love that about her because, she's got the Southern accent. She's hilarious, has an infectious laugh. When she goes quiet, which is rare, and I'm lucky, we've only been together for a few years. So she's never unloaded on me, but I know that she has on other people, and I've kind of seen it. And it's like, ooh. Like, I don't I'm a pretty confident guy. When that happens, I'm like, oh no.
I didn't know it could get to that place.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's rare. It's very rare. We're lucky. We're solid. But if she goes silent, something's up. Something is up.
But by favorite, I mean, which one, let me rephrase this. Which of those that girls consider punishments do you secretly are like, thank God, let's do this one?
None.
None?
None. I really, it's interesting because that comes from the way you queued up the question. It has a negative connotation.
Okay.
To it.
I can see that.
There's those 3 things are all negative.
Yeah.
I don't have those negative things with my wife.
What about with the prior?
Oh, God, yes. With my ex?
Yeah.
Oh, please. You'd need a gigabyte of thumb drives to go through to store all that. Yeah. Oh, God, yes. That was, yeah. That I want to remain silent on just because of we co-parent great.
Okay.
I still pay child support, a shitload of child support I pay a mortgage payment in child support every single month.
Jesus,
and I do it. Like I do it. And I'll be honest, I'll be vulnerable about this part. When we got divorced, I was making a lot more money than I'm making now.
Sure.
So the money that my lawyer, who was really good, was like, let's overpay because then we'll get her done and taken care of and all that. I said, fine, I'll always make this kind of money.
Yeah.
Then the Acme safe falls on my fucking head.
Because you are the coyote and life is the roadrunner and
so
fuck you.
Now that that's not happening anymore, so now I'm like, oh shit. So now I don't worry about, we rent because of I was eviscerated financially from my divorce. So our rent payment is almost about as much as I pay in child support.
Jesus.
My child support payment is $500 less than my rent payment.
That cuts deep, man.
Okay. And I could go back and challenge it in court because I'm making less money now, and I could have that amount reduced. I'm not doing that.
Why is that?
Because this is what I promised to pay. I'm the one that walked away from that relationship. And so I'm owning up to that. And I have another with my daughter, she turns 16 in July, another 2 years for her, and then another, 100,000 years for my son's 9. So it's until they're either 19 or they graduate from high school. And so it'll go down by half in another 2 years, but I beg, borrow, and steal. I start getting nervous the middle of every month. I start sweating. That's when I go into are all my clients happy? Is everybody good? We're starting to cash with this kind of thing. I get into more business development mode.
Yeah.
The third, fourth week of the month is when I'm much more focused on getting more business, looking for sponsors for the podcast.
Because that child support chick,
tick talk.
See,
tick talk.
Jeff, I have this idea that, and I know I'm right. I think black men and white men, black dads and white dads have more in common. The television loves to play the racism angle, right? But I guarantee you, if you lined up 100 white dads and 100 black dads, we have so much damn things in common. Because talking about the middle of the month, that check coming, hey, look, I think I'm making money, but I know how much in child support's coming out that shit.
It's the 13th of the month right now.
Yeah.
And we are on a Tuesday. Yeah, it starts coming from the middle of my brain to the front of my brain this week.
100%.
All next week and all the week after, I'm going after my clients and make sure I'm going QuickBooks. I'm sending them invoices. I'm following up with them almost every day to get paid, so I can take that money and then and then take a paycheck and then get my wife paid and make sure rent's paid.
Get paid, yeah.
100%. And that's me. And I try to, again, I lead by vulnerability because that's who we are here.
Yeah.
I hide literally nothing. Some stuff I keep to myself, but I'm 85%. What you see here is what you're going to get from me no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and I give you grace on this one, right? We are open books to our audiences, but we also deserve to keep things to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan will go deep into when he farted pooped himself as a 12-year-old, but I'm sure there's things about his family he doesn't want out.
He doesn't.
Right?
I mean, I'm a Rogan fan. And it's interesting, Brandon, that he does not talk about his wife or his daughters. He mentions them, but he does not go into detail about them.
No.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I give him grace with that.
I had one of my clients who was like, wait, you're married? And you have a kid? I said, yeah. She goes, I never see him on social media. I said, exactly. If these people are willing to say heinous things about me, leave fake reviews at my real job, what do you think they would say to my kid and my wife?
Yeah.
You think they would hold back on those people?
Yeah.
Right? Growing up, my generation had this in every TV show and every movie. There was like this, the wife sends you to sleep on the couch. And it was like the ultimate like, oh God, my wife is angry and here's this punishment. Dad sleeping on the couch, right? And now that I'm a dad, I wish that was real. I wish that punishment was real. Wait, I get a peaceful night's sleep where you're not stealing my blankets and I don't have to listen to you snore. This is amazing. I wish this was a punishment, right? But turns out it's not that real. The silent treatment, I would give anything to get the silent treatment some days. 3 hours of you not talking to me.
Peace.
Not every day. I love talking to my wife. Don't take that.
Your wife's awesome.
Away. My wife's awesome. I love talking to her. She's my best friend. But 3 hours of peace on a Monday, sign me the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
No sex. I'm telling you right now, Jeff, this is where you and I differ, man. I'm an old crotchety man. I can't do it. Like Bernie Mac said, hung like I used to, man. I ain't got it like I used to for 3 minutes. Oh, what I got. Because punishing me with no sex is like, oh, great. I get a full night's sleep. I don't think, and I think maybe this is why there's such a unevenness in the male-female relationship, is there's no real punishment that my wife could ever like deliver upon me, right? There's no consequence. I mean that. I mean, like, I make mistakes. I'm a flawed person. You're the same way. But like, what punishment, I think that's the word I'm leaning on. What punishment could your wife actually, the only punishment is leaving.
I know what your wife could do to you.
What's that?
Nag you. Because you're a very, like, I've seen you out like at events and I've seen how you are. You're a people person. You're out and you're up in food trucks filming content and you're talking to people and people know you. It's like you've because of just, and you've busted your ass to achieve this, but it's a double-edged sword. You're a brand. When you go into a public place, a lot of times they know who you're Brandon from Vegas. And you're gregarious, you're very accommodating to people, and you're nice to people. If you had a controlling, nagging wife, which your wife is not at all, I was like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? How come you should be standing with me? Go get me a beer.
Yeah.
You know, that would drive you fucking bananas.
Yeah, true. But she wouldn't have gotten married, right? She wouldn't have got the ring if she was like that. I guess nagging could be a punishment.
Oh, God, it is. Trust me. And not from my wife now, not from Brandy, but the whole like lack of trust and manipulation and like it erodes at your soul as a man.
You just said the perfect word. And I just looked at the clock and I think this is a good spot to hit with. The other day, I take my kid to school in the morning. Every morning. She's never late. I know she likes to get there early. I know exactly what time I need to leave to get her there. The dad stuff, right? I have memorized how long it takes to get her to Coronado, right? So it's maybe 6:39 or 5:39. She likes to be at school by 6. She calls me as I'm walking the dog, right? Little does she know I'm right outside the door. She calls me. And I step inside, and you know, as a dad, when you react to something, when it's your kid, you have to immediately, okay, don't yell, keep your tone, right? So I immediately just go, hey, you don't have to call me. I'm always going to be here in time. And she's like, well, I don't know why this is a big deal. I said, well, because you don't have any faith in me. I've driven you to school. Do you think I want to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing this? No. Okay, well, I do it every day for years on time. When are you going to believe that I'm this person? And she's like, I get it. And I think because of what you said, I'm finally able to articulate why guys get so mad at nagging. When are you going to have some fucking faith in me? Right? You married me. You chose me. You let me put my dick inside you and orgasm. You trusted me to do that. When are you going to have some faith that I'm the man that you married? Right? When is it good enough? Like, when are you going to believe it? Is that, have I hit on something?
Why? I think it's wonderful because it's, you said it, I'll be a little more eloquent. You are trusting me to create life with you.
Yeah.
Yet you challenge me at the most mundane things that I'm doing regarding work or things around the house or how I carry myself in public. Well, how do you rationalize one and then do the other?
Yeah. Because for us, once I decide you're my wife and I'm trusting you with my money, with my children, with my future bloodline, with everything, you have my last name.
Yeah.
I'm trusting you to carry on my family legacy. Once I trust you with that, I don't give a shit about little small stuff. My wife freaked out this morning because the laundry's getting behind. I said, baby, I'll do it. I don't care. This is mediocre small stuff, right? I need you to carry children. I need you to fucking gather resources and shit. The laundry is.
I had some guys on Fargo Talks yesterday that one's a venture capitalist, and I said, what's the biggest thing you've bet on that you think's going to pop in 5 to 10 years? He said, we invested a couple of years ago in a big robotics firm in Silicon Valley, and I said, there is a 100% chance. As soon as, I don't care if it's like 30 grand, as Elon Musk is saying, if it's like robots, if they can just fold laundry, I would spend $100,000 for a fucking robot to fold my family and my laundry so I don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
That is the one task
no one likes.
Nobody likes folding laundry. If you like folding laundry, leave a comment below as to why.
Yeah, I want to know what you look like.
And you better have a solid, don't say it's cathartic, it's relaxing, it's meditative. Horse shit.
Yeah, no.
That's horse shit.
Yeah.
Go take a yoga class. You want to fucking relax.
Go run.
Don't fold underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to get the Tesla robot? Would you get it?
Yeah.
Oh,
God, yes. Are you kidding? Hell yes. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Skynet.
Okay, see ya. If it's my time, if it's my time,
Jeff, you just yada to the end of civilization. Whatever, fuck it.
If that's what's meant to be, it was nice knowing y'all. Catch you on the flip side. We'll see celestial dad pod. We'll cross through the curtain and we'll see what happens on the other side.
This is why I fucking love you, man. My man just yada universal takeover.
I'm 55 years old, motherfucker. Are you kidding me? I've got a good 30 years left and that's it. I'm done.
I trained my son for the rebellion. This is what he was built. This is what he was built for.
My kids are good. My kids cook. My kids, whenever you're ready, let me know because I have a great story with my daughter.
You know what? Drop it on us.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so my daughter goes to a school that is it's a charter school, LVA. So her friends are all over town. And she's now in that, she's 15. So it's all these birthday parties and all this different stuff they do. And they're all great kids. They're great kids. But they're all in Aliante. And we're in Henderson. So it's like, honey, I got to buy a fucking helicopter just to get you to where we got to go.
It's 3 freeways.
It's 3 freeways.
It's 3 freeways.
It's 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's the 15 to 215 to the day.
And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So actually, I've got 2 little stories. On this one, with my son involving this trip. So this past weekend, I took Alex to the party, and we started talking on the way there about the media. And she's been sending me stuff because she goes to a very artsy, liberal school.
Of course.
Fine, awesome. I said, honey, just if there's something that you're reading that you feel strongly about or you want to discuss, send it to me. So she sent me all this stuff about RFK and Trump and everything else and the administration and deporting illegals, but they're not really illegals. They're deporting the wrong people. And these people, they should have rights if they're here. And I'm like, we had a great talk about, I said, honey, I'm not going to debate with you what you're showing me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to debate with you the source of which your stuff is being shown to you.
Yeah.
I said, follow the money. If you look at one of the articles you sent me was from PBS. PBS is being funded by USAID, which it's open now about the billions of dollars that Biden was pumping into there to go ahead and further the Democratic agenda.
Yep.
And it's all there. It's all, you can Google it and look it up.
They would have called us conspiracy theorists a couple years ago, but now it's open source.
They would have done it a year ago.
100%.
A year ago. And so I told her, I said, honey, I grew up in an era back in the 80s where you can have a polite conversation with somebody, even if you differ on political opinion, and still be friends and still have drinks together.
Yep.
And still have a good time.
Yep.
That's really, it's gone away now. And I said, for you, question the source of everything you're getting was the one thing. And she was like, okay. She's like, that makes a lot of sense.
Situational awareness.
I said, I'm not gonna debate with you what you're showing me. I'm gonna debate the source of who's showing it to you that you're sharing with me. That's one. The other biggie that I shared with her is, I said, because she said there's a friend of hers at school that is a big MAGA Trumper and is arguing with everybody like at the cafeteria. And he's like losing friends over. I'm like, well, of course the fucker's losing friends. Know the room,
know
your
dude.
Room, yeah. Know the room. And so I said, whenever that happens, I said, honey, the first person to lose an argument is the first person that gets upset. So don't lose your temper. Take a breath. The best thing you can say to someone that's heated is go, you know what? We're just going to have to agree to disagree. And leave it at that. And if they want to keep clapping, they are yapping at you, they're going to look worse off for it.
Yeah.
With optics of how you feel and everybody else.
Yeah.
We're big. It was such a great conversation, Brandon, that we had that we get, and then the other cool part was I take her, I drive back alone. Jack's at the house. I had to go back and get her. This is like 8 o'clock at night. Jack's bedtime is at 9. I said, hey, you want to come with me? He goes, yeah, I'll come with you. And we had just the best conversation. And he said to me, he goes, Dad, whenever we spend time together, you always either make me laugh or you make me smarter. And he's 9.
If you could have recorded that, you would have made every dad on
I already
Earth.
did.
Did you? Oh, well, yeah, for you.
But I mean, for me, it's like, and again, I'm all about like filming content on my kids, everything else. But that was one I just kind of kept for me.
Myself, yeah.
And it was so cool that like we go to pick up Alex. And on the way back, she's just talking about the party and all that. But we go upstairs and I tuck Jack in and she's in her bedroom and we're talking about something, her and I, and she just gives me a hug and a kiss on the cheek, which she really doesn't do that anymore. And she just said, I love you. And I said, I love you too. It was because of that conversation that we initially had going out to the party.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic that whenever I'm with my kids, my phone's on Do Not Disturb. There's no one that needs to get me that's that important. It doesn't have to happen.
Yeah.
I want to be in the moment with my children, especially in the car. And so it was like all that happened and I get a sincere hug and a kiss from my teenage daughter. That was my win for this year was that, Brandon. It was just awesome that I just had a polite talk with her about how to just navigate the world right now. And I think as dads, we need to constantly have check-ins. Like I know you do it with your daughter on the way to school. That you're having these talks, not all the time, but just as stuff comes up, if they bring it up or if you see something, you know, it's going to come on their radar eventually, that you get ahead of it. Just to have these talks with your kids is critical.
We'll leave it at that. I read a good Japanese proverb. I've been really into those. They said, you can't, when a man is drowning, that's not the time to teach him how to swim. Right? And when teenagers and especially daughters are flustered, that's not the time you can teach them, right? You have to catch them on the way to school or in quiet moments when they're at peace. That's when you can deliver it to them. And that's something I've actually learned from you. So we're all learning around here. I did. That's something I took from you.
It's just, there are times that we need to double down as dads with our children. And it's those quiet times, whether it's in the car or you're going for like tonight, we're going to go for a walk together. And I'm sure we're going to talk about stuff because there's no phones.
Yeah.
You know, usually she's got her like headphones on.
Yeah.
She's funny because she'll have her headphones on and like this one, the ear will be exposed so she can hear me what she's saying.
Yeah.
And I told her, we're going somewhere last weekend. I go, no headphones. Don't do that. And put your phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't want to see that because I'm not a fan of electronics like that.
The outside world will see that as controlling and authoritative. What she sees it as is he really wants to spend time with me, right? He wouldn't take those steps if he didn't care. And I think that's one of the biggest things and we're going to talk about that more on the next episode, but that's something I really want our podcast to get across to people. Men don't behave that way because we're just psycho control freaks. Most men I know aren't like that. We do it because that's our way of showing that we care about you.
We're farmers and we are either tilling the soil, planting seeds, harvesting the crops, which is your kids are growing up,
you're
watering them, your fertilizer, your sunlight, sometimes it's going to be rainy and the adverse conditions, that's when you get kicked in the nuts. And then the other times where it's sunny and nice and you're growing and flourishing.
Yep.
It's that ebb and flow of being a parent.
It's the business of raising children.
Yeah, we're farmers. That's all we are is farmers.
Jeff, I love you.
Love you too, my brother. Good times, man.
Episode 8.
Episode 8.
If you're watching this on YouTube, guys, make sure to leave us a comment. We talk about a lot of topics. If you agree with us, let us know below. We'd love to share that moment with you. If you disagree with us, really let us know, especially if you can be funny about it. If you just say, hey, Brandon, you're fat and Jeff's bald, all right, whatever, brother. We've heard that a million times. Be funny about it, and we'll talk about it next time.
You can call me bald. It won't hurt my feelings.
Won't hurt my feelings.
Really won't hurt my feelings at all. Or it won't hurt Brandon's feelings if you call me bald either.
Yeah, no. I think it's funny as shit, guys. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.
When you see this clip, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good shit. Jeff,
thanks,
see you next week, man.